All right. Well, we are live for Couch Conversations,
Installment.
installment number 3. All right, we're at installment number 3. Like this is a slightly big deal, guys. We are coming to the end of this managing transitions conversation.
This is it.
I hope y'all are buckled up. I hope you're ready to go. This is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be an interesting one. If you haven't already, matter of fact, just for our preliminary purposes, what we want you to do real quick is go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not already. That's a very important piece.
Yes, because we're going to be adding some extra things. I think I'm even going to do a makeup look.
Excuse me?
For the ladies. It would probably have to be a pre-recorded one put on there. But maybe I'll do like
makeup.
A simple, basic face. You know, I don't want to do a lot of makeup and stuff and take over the page with lifestyle and beauty.
So when is this makeup one coming? I'm sorry, I'm still sharing.
I'm gonna do it soon. I possibly might do it next week. So you all have to subscribe because it will not be a flyer when it go up. I'm just gonna post it.
You're just gonna post it. Excuse me.
And I think you were gonna come back.
I gotta do something else for the men.
I
gotta do something else for the men in the next week or two. What we're trying to do and what we're promising you all is a little bit more consistency.
Yeah.
So our commitment is consistency. Our commitment is to do our best to be coming on here as often as we can, giving you all updates with the friends and mentorship. mentorship.
Well, you all will be happy to know we did have a meeting last night.
She working, y'all,
about mentorship, and I'm telling you, it's going to go live
soon.
Very soon.
Okay. She gonna do it, y'all. Okay, y'all just keep looking, keep looking, keep watching and waiting. All right, you all know the drill. To support what we're doing, listen, we love to go back. Y'all may not believe this, but we go back and read these comments, or as many as we can. So as much as you can, go ahead and drop your comments in the thread and all of that good stuff.
Is it chasing on it? I see you chasing. Right. I'm a mentorship.
Drop your comments in the thread. And then also, if you want to support this page and everything that we're doing, in that little comment section, there is a little $sign. If at any point you just want to give to support, there's no pressure. But if at any point you desire to, please, ma'am, please, no sir, pressure. Just hit that $sign and we will love you. We'll shout you out if we see it while we're talking. Thank you in advance for that. And again, this is what is this? This is night 3 of managing transition. So we're going to go ahead and get in it. Let's talk about where we left off. We left off in Tucson. I think when we finished a conversation last week, I told you all that we moved to Arizona. Phineka told me I wasn't telling enough of the details. She went back and filled it all in, made it very robust.
If you did not catch that, you need to go back and watch part 2.
She made it very robust. We talked about how I wanted to move to Arizona because I wanted to be a provider. She wanted to stay in Alabama because she had help. We were on 2 separate pages, and because we were on 2 separate pages, I went in one direction, she stayed in another, and it was a very valuable conversation, a very valuable lesson that we learned on the lack of communication. I think we would call that the lack of communication. So a lot of what you all are going to hear tonight is still going to stem around conversation or communication and conversation in the midst of everything that we do. So we're in Tucson. All right, catch it.
Oh, before you go in there, no. Somebody just said, so when are you going to do a mentorship for the men? Huh?
Okay, so it's a step-by-step process, and then we got to get going. It's a step-by-step process. My responsibility right now, thank you so much. Thank you, Drilla. My responsibility right now is to push the woman of God out. There's stuff she's been sitting on for over a decade that she needs to do. So my responsibility right now is to push her out. There will come a moment. Now, I'm still going to be dropping videos in here specifically for the men. There will come a moment, but it probably won't be till 2021 when I start doing some mentorship for the husbands and the men.
Pushing to me?
Girl, if you don't shut up, if you don't hush your mouth, if you don't hush, I wish you would get on here that crazy.
Okay, let's go.
2021, 2022. Once we get her rolling, she's gonna be good. Once she gets settled, I promise you, I'm coming. All right. So we're in Tucson now. The woman of God gave us how many years?
5.
How many?
5.
She gave us
5
years in Tucson, Arizona. She got out there playing. She said, "Brother, you got 5 years.
5 years.
You got 5 years before." Thank you, Shanisha. We got 5 years before I'm leaving you. If you stay, you can stay. I ain't staying out here. I got 5 good years. Now, let me be honest with you. The woman of God was not faithful to 5 years. Let me tell you why. Every summer, this is the part we didn't tell y'all last week, and we're gonna get y'all to Atlanta. Every summer, the woman of God, the day Ashriel got out of school, you want to know what the woman of God did? The bags was already packed. She wouldn't let my mama come. She said, you ain't even got to come meet me at the airport. She said, I will fly with all these children by myself.
I flew with a double stroller. So I had,
this is no lie.
I had Amana and Katie in the double stroller, the not so twins. I had Layel strapped to my chest. Boo was old enough to walk and carry her little going to grandma's bag. Y'all, the way people would stare at me in the airport, and then when I would get seated, then I was nursing, and I wasn't one of them shame nursing mamas. If I had a cloth, whatever, if I didn't, oh well. And so it was just a lot going on my road.
And you know what? But here's the thing: I would drop her off at the airport. And folks would be cutting their eyes at me like, you ain't no good. You just a deadbeat dad. And I'm like, she the one decided that she wanted to go. Man, I didn't tell the woman God to be riding
dirty with that double stroller. Man, I would be
so the woman of God made up her mind. She wanted to go to Alabama. So she would go to Alabama every single summer.
One of them.
So I would
miss or something.
I would have to do ministry work in the South throughout the summer. That's the only way I saw my kids. We met in Gulfport 2 years.
We would go to the beach. I would just take a little road trip. Me and the girls, we would drive 2 or 3 hours. We'll stop somewhere. Then we'll meet him at whatever he was. And we
like, all right, we gonna see you.
Like, y'all we still on our South tour.
And they would
we would go to New Orleans. Me and my girls would go every year to New Orleans mouse.
So technically, if we count, she was only there 3 years and some change. Let you know. It was 3 years and some change. I did a 5-year sentence in Tucson. The woman of God did 3 years and some change because she was gone every single Sunday. When she could get a break, baby, she was gone.
Baby, I was gone.
So probably at the end of year 4, I was in the middle of planning out a pretty massive building project at this church in Arizona. We were on the brink of purchasing 20 acres of land. I was pretty excited. It was a whole lot of land we had an opportunity to buy, and we were getting it really, really cheap. I mean, when I say cheap, it was under, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember numbers right, it was under $400,000.
Oh, I think it was like 2 something.
It wasn't. It was between 3 and 4. It was relatively cheap, considering the cost of land. So I'm excited. I am pumped about this building project. I'm meeting with architects every week. I'm meeting with my team and my elders and the leaders. We're mapping out plans. We have rolled out a whole capital campaign idea. Like, we got the whole, we are excited. We are very, very excited.
Ooh, can we go back? Y'all. So the Lord had told me that we weren't supposed to build a church. Okay. See, he be going too fast. The Lord said.
He said it to her. He didn't say it to me. He said it to her.
He said, y'all is there to heal a people. You are there to love them, but you are not there.
And she always said that.
To build.
She always said that. Now me,
y'all, Bob the Builder,
y'all have to
had his hard hat on.
Y'all gotta understand the way my mind, the way God has wired
walking
me.
grounds,
praying. I walk into
Tootsie rolling on the ground.
I walk into situations and I see what it could be. I see possibilities. So I'm letting her love the people. She can do all the loving. You hug, you kiss, you put them in your bosom and let them get all warm. You put them right in the crevice of your cleavage and you let them feel the warmth of Jesus right there. Me, I'm looking long term. So anything, if I commit to it, I'm in it. So in my mind, Tucson is it. Like, this is where we're going to be the rest of our lives. I hear your little 5-year deadline. Appreciate your little 5 years. But listen, if we build this building, we ain't going nowhere. So we get down really.
So this is a point, ladies. Wait, let me just say that, wives.
Come on.
Okay, because God had, I'm telling you, this was not my flesh. I had checked it a few times. I had vetted it, a few times with myself. I said, self, is this your flesh? I said, flesh, is that you? Is that your flesh? And flesh said, no, this ain't me. This ain't me. This ain't me, sir.
This ain't me this time.
This ain't me, sir. This ain't me. This ain't on me. This ain't on me. This is God. This is God.
Who is it?
God. So I said, brother, I vetted this through flesh. I checked flesh. Flesh said this wasn't me. Flesh said this was all God. So I had to go to God, and he said that you don't supposed to build this church.
And so listen, every time she would say it, I would walk out the room. I wouldn't even have a conversation with him.
He would walk in the room. But I want to say this point to why.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is that when I had started to get frustrated because I started saying, oh, because you the pastor of the church and your name on that little marquee out there, you don't believe what I got to say? Oh, so you don't think God talks to me?
They had my portrait in the vestibule.
They had his portrait in the vestibule. They had my portrait out there. They had his portrait in there. They had it all in the thing with all the pastor stuff. They had my portrait out there. I said, oh, so my name ain't on the roll. So your name was
on the roll. It was on the roll.
I said, so you don't believe that I hear from God.
So
I had to pause to say, women, when you get into those situations where you feel like God is really dealing with you about something with your husband, and he was about to, he would walk out the room, and at first I would really get upset, and I had to start saying, okay, God, you have to help me. And God began to tell me to just keep it before him. And I kept praying, and I stopped telling him, even when he would come in, when Bob the Builder would come in, and he was all excited with his plans, I even would look through him and all this here. And I said, well, I know it ain't going to be. But I didn't never say it. I stopped saying it. He'll tell you. I stopped saying it. I stopped saying it.
God, hush your mouth.
He said, God said,
I said, shh.
But I had went it down into a telephone down in my bosom.
Mr. Telephone.
My grandma said it's down in your bosom. And I poured it out when he was down there walking the grounds and Tootsie rolling with the people saying, name it, claim it.
Now, if I'm honest, I believe she went into a little bit of witchcraft. I believe she called on some Arizona witches. And what she did was she prayed against what God was trying to do.
Ain't no witches over here. Ain't no witches over here. Ain't no witches over here.
But honestly, she when she said 5 years, in my mind and in my head, I'm like, I'm not applying anywhere. I'm not applying for any more jobs. I don't apply. I don't apply for jobs. So every ministry job I've ever had, with the exception of this one, I walked into. And this one I only applied because they asked me to. I would have never applied for the job. I said, I ain't going nowhere. This is it. We's here. This is where we're going to be. Fast forward, March 20.
I had a praying wife.
20, Glory! What was it? 26 March 2016. March 2016, I will never forget this. Phineka and I went to Tasha's iLead conference. This was March.
Yes.
So this was the turning point. We went to Tasha's Tasha Cobb's at the time Tasha Cobb's iLead conference. During that conference, there was a moment where Pastor William McDowell laid hands on me. And I remember I was at the altar and I was vacillating on what we needed to do next, how it needed to happen, all of that stuff. Because before we left, I was supposed to sign the paperwork to finalize the deal. I didn't get a chance to do it before I left. We went to the conference. I said, everything will be fine. I'll handle it when I get back. All right. So we go to the conference. We have an amazing time. It's a powerful time. And then all of a sudden, we get back to Tucson and I get a call from the pastor that I'm buying the land from. And he said, hey, while you were away, there was another entity that came in with the cash offer. Guys, prior to that, while we were away, there was a meeting had by some of the leaders within the context of the church that made it the decision that they didn't want to go forward with the move anyway. So I come back and every plan that I had.
We ended up going home for Christmas when that happened.
No. This was all in March. It was all around my birthday.
Oh, okay.
This was all around my birthday. I mean, I remember like the back of my hand. So when everything fell through, he said, the only way I can give you this land now is if you bring me the cash by Monday. And at that time, we were trying to move some properties. I didn't have the liquid assets to give him for the land. So by that Monday, we had lost out on it all. And guys, it knocked the wind out of me. Like it was one of those moments where I'm like, now, I feel like I've been backdoored a couple of different ways. I think my wife has been praying against me. I feel like all the leaders and leadership here don't see what I see. I'm frustrated, and I will never forget this. That year, Easter was in March. I went in the office after Easter service. I'm sitting in the back of the office, and my head is back. I had like a bad migraine after that service. Phineka came in the office, and she said, "Oh, are you okay?" And I looked at her, and I said, "This is our last Easter here." And that was it. She had never heard me say anything about transitioning out of Tucson. Yeah, go.
Ooh, okay, so let me go back. Okay, let me tell you how Apostle Matthew Stevenson came into play. So right before we had our installation service, right? Our first year, our installation service. Okay, Apostle Matthew saw my husband on a photo with a college roommate when he was back in college. And he said that the Lord had been giving him visions about my husband, and he saw his face. He didn't know his name. So when he saw a photo of him from the guy he did know, he inquired who he was. Anyway, long story short, fast forward, he sends us a message that says that you all are in the wrong place.
And if you stay there, you're going to die.
And if you stay there, you're going to die, basically. Okay. I said, what in the quackery? Is this baby? I started binding and loosing and slanging oil and praying and shadabating. And I said, he said, what? He gonna do what? And so he started saying, when you try to force a thing, he was talking about, all these things, right? So
I would only talk to him.
So we stepped on them.
I would only talk to him once a year.
We stepped on him because we said, this man here crazy. And so I wanted to put that in because that is a very important key to where you're going to now.
So it's the linchpin to what happened next.
So he started having headaches. So by this time, y'all saw part 2. I had got all in. So I'm over the workshop. I'm doing the fumes, and I'm doing all this here stuff at the church. Okay, that's funerals. Okay, for those of you not from the South that know what a funeral is. Okay, and so I'm up there all the time, and I was like, okay, well, we usually, he comes back out, he changes his shirt, and he come back out, and we would go and greet the people. Okay, I'm kind of waiting for the cue for him to come back out, and he don't come back out. I go and greet all the people. He still does not come out, and so I go in, and he can barely sit up. And so by this time, we're thinking that some deacons and some elders will have to get him to the car so I can drive him home. He don't really like me to drive him nowhere. I would have to drive him home.
She can't drive.
He said, I drive too slow. I drive extremely safe. Extremely safe. Now you're not gonna do that on interwebs. And so he started having these headaches. And we started saying, oh my God, he's too young. What is this? I mean, so far as migraines, he was like blocking out the curtains. He didn't want to hear any noise. Many kids would have to go outside. Now y'all know I'm loud in country. So we would have to be tiptoeing around there. Do I look like a woman that can tiptoe? And so do I like a woman that can whisper? And so I was like, oh my God, what is this? And so you didn't tell another part.
Go ahead.
So Apostle ended up inviting us to Chicago.
Okay.
Before this, okay.
Go ahead, yeah.
So he ended up inviting us to Chicago, and I said, he's crazy. I don't know if I want to go. He said, well, he's paying. Where we're going. We go, y'all. We tour the city. Y'all, I'm country. I ain't know they got 2 levels in the city. Y'all, we lost our car. We pinged our car and said we were standing on our car and we was like in front of a candy shop. You remember that, babe? So we just ran there like a chicken with our head cut off, baby. Baby, we ate candy, shopped, walked, everything. Couldn't find our car. We was too embarrassed to try to figure it out until finally somebody said it was 2 layers. We ended up finding our car, maybe about 3-4 hours later. But anyhow, so we get back to the hotel and he says, Apostle's calling me. I said, well, I ain't going down there because I'm tired. We done been out all day. We done ate good and we done, on his dime. I ain't going. He said, babe, that ain't right. That ain't integral. You can't do that. He said, I'm going. I said, well, you going on down there. I'm going to lay on down here. When I get tired, I'm going to warm up a little piece. I ain't going. And he went down there and he said, babe, tomorrow you're going to have to come to a meeting. I said, okay. So I go to a meeting and it's already pastors that are in the association. I never get in situations like this. If y'all want to see me quiet, put me in a room like that and baby, I'll be quiet.
But this
as
one
a church
time,
mouse.
you
hear me?
But this time.
I don't ever say nothing.
But this time.
Like but this one time, it was the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost jumped in my arm and the Holy Ghost did this. And I looked up and I said, God, is that you? Why is my hand yet raising, Lord? What is thou doing? He had went to the bathroom and Apostle.
No, I was in there.
Apostle, you was coming back in. Apostle wasn't teaching. Another man was teaching. And I said, well, what happens when you have vision, but you are in a traditional setting?
Yep.
Y'all, this man read me for filth. He get on there. He said, oh, I'm glad you asked that question. Y'all, the man came down my row, literally, not like the church said came down my row. No, he literally came down the row and he said, you are in the wrong place and y'all are sowing the right seeds in the wrong place. But there is a people that is for you. And he went on and on. And I was like, this, because I was like, what I'm not going to do is cry in front of these people.
And I said, cry.
Wanted to turn that little head with them. He had his dreads in, and I said, "You better not turn your little narrow stuff around." And I said, "Oh my God!" When I tell y'all, I wept. I think I wept all day. I left there. I could not stop crying. I think I cried through the night in my sleep. And I said, "Lord, what is that?" And so then we go back and I pick that up.
No, because her thing was, I want to get out the city. At that moment, I'm like, why would you even put your hand up? Why? This ain't even our meeting. Why are you asking?
And we don't even supposed to be here.
Why? Just why you say
nobody know us.
So this was October 2015. Now I'm in March 2016, and I make the decision that this is it. It's time for us to go. Well, we're not going to make it here another Easter. I make one phone call to. Here's let me just drop this. In every transition, this is so important. This is a marital principle. This is a life principle. In every transition that you make, it is imperative that you leave as honorably as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
Because the way you end one chapter will be the way you go into your next. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. Absolutely. You cannot close doors, even relationally, dishonorably, Absolutely. And expect to walk into a blessing in the next season.
Say that again. That is so good.
The way that you close a thing in honor will open up what's going to happen next.
Even when you have been dishonored. Okay. So I don't want you to say, well, I don't know. People talked about me. I've been dishonored and all of these things. Listen, I had never seen anyone attack on the level that I had seen happen to him there. Some parts he didn't tell you. We had a man. You want to tell that?
We'll have time.
Okay.
No,
okay.
we can't go all
but
the way there.
he was really attacked in Arizona until they had a deacon had to literally pick me up and physically remove me. Okay, from a meeting. Okay, that's okay. And so and so even with all of that dishonor, he made a point to drive with me.
Yep.
Is for us not to leave that place dishonorable. He got up. He said, "We're gonna go out doing what we did when we came in. We came in loving. Don't y'all stop trying to hug us. Don't y'all. We're not gonna stop loving on you." And I'm telling you that. I'm telling you.
I will say it till I'm blue in the face. The only reason I believe one of the driving points behind why God has given us the type of success that we've had here in this window of time it has been honor.
Yeah.
Honor, closing bad seasons, open the door to really, I think, everything that we're in.
Okay,
now.
Just for real quick, Pastor, I know this is with managing transitions because I see some of the comments, and I get this a lot of times. What would you say, since you are a senior pastor?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I wouldn't say since you're a senior pastor, but if you know somebody who has been really dishonored in their church, and even if they try to have conversations with their pastor, and the pastor is kind of ducking and dodging because maybe they really feel what is coming down the pike, how do you tell that person they should leave still with honor?
I say this in any relationship. This for me is applicable for church. It is applicable for business. It is applicable for every relationship. If by any means possible, you can have a face-to-face conversation with the individual or with the body of individuals that you need to separate from, the honorable way to do it is the same way they brought you in. It's the same way you go out. You don't do it any different, no matter how poorly you feel like they have treated, have done your name, whatever. On your way out, if you have been under that authority, you dismiss yourself in an honorable way. Don't let the spirit of Saul come upon you because of a moment of frustration because of how you were done in another season. Yeah. If you cannot do it face to face, or for some reason there is a heavy avoidance or a lack of desire to engage in conversation, the way that you do it, you try to find you a witness to go with you. Use multiple people, try multiple ways to have face-to-face interaction. As a last resort, the thing that will never fail is a paper trail. I want you to hear me. Yeah. The thing that will never fail is a paper trail. Now, I don't think that it's ever honorable to dismiss yourself through a text message. Yeah. Text messaging is too common. I don't think that you can get out of any relationship through text messaging. I don't think, even as social as we are now, I don't think your thumbs are an adequate way for you to depart or disengage from any level of relationship. What you do is you create a very professional paper trail, and you put other individuals on there that can help keep you accountable in said paper trail. So you CC, you BCC, whoever else you need to do in order to cover yourself, but you do it in honor. I promise you.
And how should that email read? Should it read, and you know what you did to me?
Nope. Because here's the thing. Here's what I've learned. You do not have to jab at someone else's error in your departure. Now, this is the best. Man, we talking just life transitions now. Yeah. You don't have to tell them what they did not do to meet your expectation on your way out the door. What you do is you appreciate the fact that you've even been a part of something that they were building. That's an organization. If you're sending it to a CEO, you tell them, thank you for giving me a chance. If that chance was for 3 weeks, if that chance was for 3 years, if that chance was for 10 years, honor them for taking a chance and opening up a door for you. Then be very honest in saying, this is my time to transition out of said organization or out of said position. I appreciate the fact that you gave me the time and space to do this. However, due to my life and situation circumstances, this is my moment to transition out. Everything you do. And then when you end it, you sandwich it again with another level of thank yous. Some may say, well, you're just being over the top. I shouldn't have to say thank you that much. Yes, you do. Because listen to me. If this is professional, if this is ministerial, if it's just relational, they added something to you that made you stay as long as you did. So no matter what, you learned something, you gained something, you gathered something in that time, and you appreciate what you got in that window of time, no matter how dishonorable or how challenging it may have been.
Last question, and we're going to keep it back.
Yep.
What happens when you do not get a response from that individual that you didn't get the face to face, or even if you got the face to face and it wasn't met with the same love that you kind of gave out, it could have been what is the word when people try to make you feel bad for leaving? I think of it in a minute. But if it's met with all types of this ain't your time, and they're gonna try to throw God and try to switch up some things, how do you handle that when you do not get the response that you expected? And then we're gonna pick back up.
I will say this to the day that I die.
Where these comments going? I guess you're happy.
It works for me like forgiveness. Forgiveness is never for them. It's always for you. Leaving out in honor is not always for them. It is for you. It is the door. It is the key to your next opportunity. So even if they use
honor is the key to your next opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Honor is the key for your next opportunity. So even if they attempt manipulative conversations to try
manipulative is what I was trying to find. Yes.
So
yes.
What transpires often in relationships, when you're ready to break it off or you're done with it, there will be a level of conversations to try to bait you back in. But what you always have to follow for your life, and this is in everything, you've got to follow the path of peace. And once you've got your okay from Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit to do what you need to do, you can still depart honorably, even if they beg you to stay. You close every door. You complete every assignment. You do everything that was under your purview or under your jurisdiction, and you do it in excellence on your way out. For me in church, you send them a seed and say, thank you so much again for letting me be here. I'm leaving in honor.
So you leave, you give a seed.
Yeah.
Even on your way out.
I still, I want you to hear me, in every door, every chapter that I close.
I know it seems redundant because I want to know that I want you to tell people how we have given a seed even
on my way out in spaces where I've been highly disrespected and or dishonored. I never look at it as an individual slight. I always consider the fact that God graced and granted me the opportunity to be in the seat that I was in. And if he gave me the opportunity, the way I honor him is to leave it in excellence. You do everything you can to leave it better than when you picked it up. You seed into it on your way out and you go through your next door of opportunity. I promise you, the only reason, it's not happenstance that we're in spaces where we are right now. We have managed transitions well by not dishonoring. And I'll take it. Woo-wee. Let me just take my glasses off. We done gone somewhere else. Listen, I'll take it a step further. It's not just on your way out, but even when you get settled in your next place, don't let your mouth curse what he already ejected you out of. You've got to be integral.
I love these
even on the other side of it, you've got to be integral enough to not curse what you came out of, because it was still a wound that helped to create where you are right now.
So when people come and say, so why you left? Now, because they told me stuff was going on at that church and with that pastor, or they told me stuff was going on at that job. Now you ain't there no more, so now you can tell it.
When they do it in church, when they do it occupationally, when they even ask for all our single folk, why y'all not together no more? Or even from the married folk that have had to have divorces and have watched it go another way. And you got enough dirt to be able to sling in any direction. You don't allow your mouth to curse your future by allowing it to talk about what was in your past. Because hear me, every past season was a womb that birthed you into the space where you are now. You are constantly coming out of wombs. All right. You are being birthed faith to faith, glory to glory. You're constantly in wombs, birthing into newer versions of who you are. I can't curse what made me who I am today because I got frustrated in what happened in the last season. Hush your mouth. All right.
So there's a blessing on hushing your mouth.
There is more than a blessing on being able to keep your mouth shut. When you can hold your tongue, when you got dirt and you can slang it well, when you can learn how to just and not allow that season of frustration to curse what your future is going to be, you'll see a lot clearer moving forward. What often happens when you start cursing what was, that bitterness begins to build in your heart. And it's hard for you to walk through new doors with a bitter taste in your mouth. When your heart is still bitter, you don't see a new door for what it actually is. What God has to do in honor is he takes the taste of bitterness from what was out of your mouth, so you won't hold the next season responsible for what it had nothing to do with. All right. So all that is to say, in March, we decided we were leaving. I had a conversation with Dr. Matthew Stevenson in April. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I said a whole lot.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Dr. Matthew Stevenson in April. At the beginning of May, I announced to the church we were departing.
Wait, so he texted me because he was still in meeting with Apostle, and he gave us two scenarios, okay? Because sometimes you go too fast.
Yep.
He gave us two scenarios. Take over something that was already established here or start something. Okay, I had to stop because typically I am safety city. Okay, so everything has to line up. I have to know dollars and cents. Okay, it has to make sense to me. You know, I am a mom. We have 4 children. You know, I've been a single parent, and nothing fears me more is to figure out really how am I going to be able. You know, we are going to be able to take care of our children. Excuse me. And so I was like, typically, I'm like, not what's going to be happening. Now, mind you, if you saw the last one, you know, when we came into this transition, we thought we was going to be making one thing, and that did not happen. I could have let that thing stayed on my heart. Yep. And I could have said, well, I don't know if I trust you to make another decision. Y'all, I knew it was God. And I trusted my husband, even though, you know, we had been deceived before. And instead of being mad, we use it as a learning tool. Absolutely. And so when he texts me, he said, I'm gonna call you as soon as I get out. But I'm just texting you when we kind of talking, you know. So he texts me on the table. And I said, he sent me to church, and I said, well, I don't think that is our style. So he said, well, the only other thing is for us to start it. And I said, absolutely. And for him, he knew that was God, because typically it's now, if we going out there, now, is we going to have insurance for my kids? Is we going to start out on salary? And I want you to tell them about that transition, because this is
okay. So here is, all right. So I'm going to give y'all a mouthful about a transition for us from Tucson to Alabama to Georgia. So I tell my church in May that we're departing, okay? Phineka leaves
I forgot about that.
2 weeks later, because Phineka went back to finish her degree. So Phineka leaves at the third week of May.
Because something he pushed me to do.
Yep.
Y'all, I had 1 semester of college to finish, and I never finished. I never finished. Life transitions happened, and then I got married, and then I kept having babies. And every time I would want to go back to school, and we came down, and a dean that was there years before, 20 years before, when I had went in the late 90s, and he tried to discourage me and said they was going to make me do all this stuff over. Yeah. And I walked out of there crying. And my husband said, nope, come on, we're going back up in there, and we're going to ask somebody to talk to somebody who's over his pay grade. He gave him the situation. He said, I want you to write these people a letter. I sat in the car crying, wrote a letter, tear-stained paper. and they let me back in school. I didn't have to do that. Now I did have to do two dumb freshman orientation something. I was like, y'all, I'm almost 40, but whatever. But anyhow, I did go back into school. So we was transitioning into transition. And so he said, I don't want you to make another move because you have made all of these moves for me. But I know the one thing that has just every May I was just getting this depression when graduation. And he said, before we make this next move, and I don't even know honestly what it's going to look like, but what I do know is that Phineka Clivette Harris Friend is going to have her degree. And so in 2 weeks after he made this announcement to the church, I was gone.
She left.
And I left him with the church.
So the girl stayed with me because here is the another just nugget about just life transitions, marriage transitions. And this is why I say to every wife, I can't say this enough. It is not always your responsibility to bear the burden of being a parent. It's not. If you lay down with somebody to make what you got, it is the responsibility of both individuals for the care, the upkeep, for the management of those lives. I told her to go. She was worried about the kids and she tried to take the kids with her. I said, if you take the kids with you, it's going to defeat the purpose. You're not going to be able to focus because you're going to be juggling children. So I said, leave me with these girls. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. I had some amazing hands to help us in the middle of that because I was still trying to wrap everything up as we finished up with the church stuff. But guys, I promise you this, it was a summer that me and my girls will never forget because in that time, we were able to bond on another level because it was just us. We had nothing else. Yeah. I called for Phineka one night and she wasn't in the house. When I realized she was actually gone, I said, Lord help. And God helped me every single time. We packed up a house with her gone. We cleaned up a house with her gone, got everything ready to move to Atlanta. Now, here is why I say it is important to do everything that you do honorably. We're getting ready to move to Atlanta. This is June. June, she finds a house. July, we're end of June, beginning of July, we're in our final phase of getting ready to transition out of the city. Yeah. Okay. So what had happened was I got called into a meeting. Yeah. The leaders of the church called me into a meeting and they asked me if they made some particular concessions, would I be willing to stay? They offered me 6 months off, paid sabbatical on the spot. Like just take time, get refreshed, and then come back. And when you come back, you're going to be better than you were. Your head's going to be clear. Your heart's going to be clear. We just feel like you're the one to carry our church into the next years of this church. And then they made me a financial offer that superseded what I was promised when I walked in the door. It was about to take us well into a 6-figure salary in order to do it. But they wanted my response on the fly. Like they wanted me, they said, well, no, they said, you can go and pray about it a few days and see what God says. And guys, when I saw the money they were about to offer, everything in me almost said, wait, I'm about to go into a whole unknown situation and scenario in Atlanta. And there is something on the table that I know has the ability to secure my family for the next little bit. It felt easy to say, let's just stay, unpack the trucks, call the cars back, and let's just stay here. But I knew if I was going to fulfill what we were supposed to fulfill together, this was my opportunity to exit. I had to follow the path of peace. Here's what I'm telling you. In every transition, even when you feel like you don't know what you're supposed to do next, there is a path that'll guard your future called peace. You've got to follow where the peace of God is for you in this season of your life. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care who's with you, who don't understand it. You've got to follow the path for you that looks like peace.
So what you're saying is, even in a transition, when you caught between two opinions, as my granny say,
yep.
Money should not be the thing that rule you.
If money moves you in the midst of transition, money has the ability to choke you when it's not providing enough. The reason why you never move with money is because you can always make it wherever you go. If they can buy you, they can choke you with the same dollar they bought you with. You have to follow the path of peace. When you've got the peace of God on what you're about to do, you may not know what all is entailed behind the next door, but the peace of God will guard your heart and mind in everything that you do. So let me tell y'all how it worked out. Now, this was the beauty of it. We didn't know what was about to happen next. I sat in that meeting with the leaders of that church, and I said, hey, guys, the last 5 years, I have given y'all everything that I've had. Mentally, emotionally, I've given it all. I've laid it all out on the table. Said, all I ask is, and this is June, all I ask is for the rest of this year, you all pay my salary as if I was here for the next 6 months. My only request is, as I leave, I'm not asking for a massive severance package. I'm just asking for you all, just do right in this departure, and let's just leave it here in doing that. And guys, with very little disagreement, they conceded and said, that is the least that we, in so many words, it's the least we can do. So in going into a season where we didn't know where money was coming from, what gave us the ability to get a home, get to Atlanta, and get stable was I left the door honorably that sold into me on my way out. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
That is so good.
When they don't do you right, or you feel like things have not gone the way that they should have, there's a seed on the other side of your submission to honor. When you do a thing honorably, you don't know how God is going to bless you on your way out if you go out the right way. It says he blesses your going out and your coming in.
Yeah.
You don't know what God is going to do or who he's going to use in order to get you into that next place. And it's the whole reason when we got here, I didn't have to try to find a job. We were at least stable. I didn't have to feel like I was trying to preach all over the country to make it right.
Yeah.
Like I could take engagements that I wanted to, but I knew we would at least be stable for a season. It was the game changer.
And we moved here knowing 3 individuals.
3 people.
So I also want to say, even in transition, sometimes, it can seem all cushiony to go back to, I know people there, and these are the people that are going to show up for me.
Yep.
What this transition here has taught me was what that man said to me when the Holy Ghost jumped in my arm, and he said that there is a people that is for you. You are sowing the right seeds in the wrong place, but when you get in the right place, you're going to find that there is a people for you. And I tell you, if this transition didn't release our people, I told my husband, I said, we got here, we had our first Monday Night Madness. I didn't know if it was going to be me, my friend Brittany, and Pastor Adrian Davis, and Apostle, and 5 of his people, maybe security. I was looking for maybe 100 people to be there. And I said, I don't know who is going to show up, but what I do know, that we have found our place, and we have found our people. And when I tell you, when he said, go in the path of peace. Now, mind you, even though we had found our place, and even though we had found our people, it was not enough to sustain us as a family.
Right.
And so even some of our family, especially his father, was like, this is crazy. You all you don't know you're going to have a salary. You don't know if your kid's going to get sick. Y'all ain't got insurance. And I want to be very, very, very honest. with you all. Yes, that was a short stint. We didn't even have insurance. You know what we did? We literally, it's like, Lord, keep our children safe, keep our children healthy until after we get in this transition and we figure out what it's going to look like money wise, and we can get ourselves back on insurance. I always want to shoot that straight to you.
Sure.
Because and God was so faithful. Yep. He didn't let not one of us get sick. Yep. While we was in that transition. And some people said, that is crazy. Yep. That is stupid. Y'all got kids. You doing what? And I was like, we are doing this for the sake of the gospel. And God was so faithful and to us, towards us. And even when we could, the love was so rich. I'm telling y'all, we found our people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We found our people. I get to crying if I get to talking about it too much. But I just the faithfulness of God. So I want to tell anybody vacillating with a transition, and fear is a thing that tries to grip you. Listen, he began to feed the ravens. They didn't even have to worry about what they would eat. Y'all, when I tell y'all the way we came here and the way we found our people and the way we were blessed, there was not one thing that went lacking in our home.
I'll take it a step further. We probably would not know most of y'all had we not made the transition when we did. Like, many of you have come along in our story since we have become a part or made the faith move to Atlanta. You just never have a clue who and or how God is going to connect you with a whole world of people just when you choose to follow peace. Now, I saw a question where someone asked, what do you do when you didn't transition honorably because of church hurt? If you don't have access at the same point anymore, I still, some say is an antiquated way. I still say that there is nothing wrong with writing or sending an email. Repent. This is going to be just breathe in, breathe out. Repenting for the way you departed, even though you were hurt. Repent, because what repentance does is it washes your heart and mind from the way you left the thing. Repentance is same as forgiveness. It's not as much about them. It's about having your heart and conscience clear. Repent for the way that you departed. And don't feel the need or the necessity to explain all of the nuances behind why you did. Say, I know I did this wrong. I want to repent to you for not leaving or departing the way that I should have in honor. And I pray that if you can't now, one day you can forgive me for my dishonorable departure from this space.
I love it.
Nevertheless, I want to say I still love you. I pray God's best, his peace upon everything that you're building and all that you're doing. And I hope that this serves as an adequate means to know that there is no ill intent and or malice in my heart. Just go back and make it right.
Yeah.
You may not have the same level of access, but that doesn't mean you can't make it right. You can still make it right.
Listen, and I'm sorry. Listen, we have to literally begin to check our pride, and go back sometimes. We cannot worry. I know we're in a world where you just, everybody, you just fancy free, and but it is nothing wrong with going to make things right.
Right.
And a lot of times, we can be hurt and we want to insert the hurt that we receive, but what you don't realize, you are damaging your next door. We've had people come in our church, even here in Atlanta, with church hurt. They have ducked and dodged us. We go back and hug. They run. They don't. I had to call people out in the spirit. And they were scared to serve, and then they realized the part that they had to play in it. Yes, I was done wrong, but this is what I done. This is the part I played in to allow my heart to get bitter in it. Where I couldn't love. And one thing I can say, even all that has happened in those transitions, we didn't name them all. Chattanooga, we finding out we was losing a job the day we had our baby. To Tucson, all that happened there. To here, I never allowed any of those experiences to make me fearful to love our people here. you know,
Right.
and
I think she actually loved harder coming here than and Phineka's always been contagious with love, but I've watched her love harder here than I have probably anywhere else we've been. And it was like that coming out the door. Like I
I
think as
had to
soon as
ask the
she,
Lord to check, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
To check my heart, because I did not want to bring any of that stuff over.
sure,
And you always ask God to
right,
take away the residue. I
sure,
think, you know, a lot of
right,
times we'll get out of a situation,
right,
but but we don't ask God to take the residue. Like I want to come in here and I want to love in such a way
sure,
that like my heart has never been
yeah,
hurt by people. And I believe, you know, and there's some things that it's broken my heart even here in Atlanta, but it still has never been a thing
sure,
to knock me off of my rocker where I wouldn't stop
absolutely,
I wouldn't stop loving, you know, wouldn't stop loving people. But I do believe it was in the way we were managing transitions. I
absolutely,
believe if we didn't manage them well, if we kept all that hurt, you would have came here not really trusting
sure,
people
yep,
and thinking people would have had backdoor
mm,
meetings against you and
sure,
things like
yep,
that, you know. But I think it was because, you know, we really prayed and sought God on those
absolutely,
things and
absolutely,
tried to walk that thing out very honorable and check our pride often. I am always on a pride check. You know, I was a single parent. It was just things that happened in my childhood that could make me proud. You know,
sure,
with pride, and so it was something that I always have to do. You know, and I think sometimes people misunderstand how pride can come in.
absolutely.
You know,
It's very sneaky. It's very subtle.
it's very subtle, it's very
Yep.
sneaky. And so then you had to start saying, wait a minute,
Thank you, Angela.
this is pride. And you
Yep.
have to really
Yep.
begin to check those things,
Yep.
because it can be a people even in your next space that can be job, relationship, church, whatever, that are ready to receive you with love, but you got this wall up because you had been so damaged
Yep.
from your last place, and you hadn't allowed God to wash your heart over, you know,
Absolutely.
in that space of transition.
Now, someone asked, and I'm reading through the comments. What if you transition silently? So here's my thing: if you've ever submitted openly, you never depart silently.
Yeah.
So if I've submitted my heart, my life to a house, to a people, I've served, I've given, I've been a part. Slipping out the back door and saying very little to me is an equivalent of running away. It's like a teenager running out the house. Because a lot of times when we feel like, man, when we feel like it's time to transition, sometimes it's misunderstandings that can be cleared up with conversation.
Yeah.
Other times it is probably really time to go. But I will never say, I think probably like in the seat that we sit in, one of the hardest things to watch and to experience is people that you love or you have uh, given your heart into,
Yeah.
all of a sudden disappeared. Now there's some I've hunted down, like, hey, where I ain't seen you in months. And when they say that, hey, I decided another path, I'm like, well, you know, I know that I can't touch everybody like I did when we first started, but I don't think for most people that sit in the place of a congregation, we're just talking in terms of church,
Yeah.
that most people understand that in our seat, we may not be able to name every name, but we know a lot of
Yeah.
faces. So to see a face that you've always seen no longer present, and to find out that it was something that could have been cleared up in a conversation is a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
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 So here it is. Here is our, and we gonna wrap up. Yeah, y'all. This is. I hope that this has helped somebody tonight. We gonna wrap it up. We've ended in Atlanta because we got some stuff we still got to share with y'all next week, because we're not gonna call it managing transitions, but many of you all know we're on the brink of another huge life transition for us.
Yeah.
Um, before I go there, is there any other mothers in here that are already, you got small kids and you already weep over the fact that they're about to go to college?
Babe, don't do that.
I'm asking for myself. Is there anybody else? Y'all, me and Phineka were just sitting around the house talking the other day, and I saw tears well up in our eyes. I said, babe, what's wrong? You hit your toe? Did your head hurting? What's going on? Your braids too tight? What's going on? She said, Lael gonna be going to college soon. What? What? Like, No, we're not leaving Atlanta. No, Fred, not.
Oh no.
What? Lael got a whole 11 years before she even walk across the high school. Why are we crying
Ooh,
about
yeah,
this
I'm gonna need
already?
oxygen with Boo Lee.
Now Boo's a little bit. Boo's 3 years out. But so here is
Somebody said yes. I have a way on the 2 month old already.
So all right. So I said that so I can end here. I don't want you to start pre-grieving transitions that you think are going to be difficult. All right. I don't want you to start grieving too soon stuff that you think is going to be tough and talking yourself out of doing what is going to be mandatory for your future. All right. So I want you to take some deep breaths, breathe in and out. Don't grieve it too soon. Let life happen. Deal with it as it comes, but don't start grieving. All right, you got an upcoming senior. That's fine. We got a sophomore,
but she will be gone in like 3 years.
But she was crying over
over
the first grader. She was crying with first grade. Guys, she was in tears, weeping over the first grader. And I'm saying it in jest, but I'm saying it because and we're going to end up talking about this at some point. I almost have to stay on top of Phineka as it pertains to her words with the girls.
Yeah.
Because Phineka will say, y'all can't leave your mama. Your mama ain't gonna know what to do. She don't have her baby. Y'all don't leave your mama. Don't leave. Please don't leave your mom. She done convinced Samana to look for a basketball scholarship at the University of Alabama. It's like, you can't go too far. I don't know if I'll be able to get out there to watch you play if you go too far. I'm like, wait a minute. And this all has to do with transition. I'm going to tell you why. This is the last little nugget we're going to drop tonight, and I'm going to let you go. Tell them where you wanted to go to college.
Morgan State, Baltimore, Maryland.
Where did you end up going to college?
Alabama A&M in Huntsville, Alabama.
Why did you end up going to Alabama A&M?
Because my granddaddy said it would kill my grandma if I left that far. I was too country, and I had never been nowhere in a big city, and it would swallow me up, and I needed her. So
here's what I'm saying. Phineka is probably one of the most amazing mothers I know. And like what you all see on social what you all see on social media is a true reflection of who she is as a mother. But what she started with in jest with our girls is imposing on them a curse of regret that transpired with her. It's a transition that she fears, and without even thinking about it, she began to say out of her mouth the very thing in a different format that was imposed on her. Now, granted, I appreciate granddaddy because I got the best thing that ever happened to me because they made it go to Alabama. And yeah, I bless God for whatever happened. I thank God for it. I'm honored. However, because that piece in her wasn't able to be fulfilled, there's still places in the back of her mind where she says, I wonder what if. Yeah. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying all this to say, because it all has to do with transitions, because no matter what, we're always going to be in some type of life transition. Yeah. I was talking to a counselor today, and really, it just dawned on me, I'm probably in a midlife crisis right now. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just realizing I'm probably at the middle point of my life. And because I'm at the middle point, I've got to do things that are in the best interest of those girls. That's got to be my primary drive and my primary responsibility. But I don't want, when it comes to the girls, now Phineka dies every time I say this, I want London to move all the way to LA. I said, if you want to go to Cali, baby, daddy going to help you get to California. She wants to go to Harvard. She said, I'm going to either go to Harvard or Yale. I said, beautiful. I can get your mama there to you on a plane in an hour. All right.
And they had to map quest it for me. Do people still map quest? I said, y'all got to map it out because I got to be able to drive to my baby.
Now, I'll be honest. Now, did it make it easier when your wife let you lead in a transition? Here's one thing I don't think I've ever had an issue with. Even if Phineka did not completely agree with what was about to go down, Phineka's never taught me about a transition.
Yeah.
I think she's always trusted that I was following God.
I will follow him anywhere.
Yeah,
I told him I follow him anywhere, and
So-
that is the truth. And when I say that, and I've never fought him on a transition.
Absolutely not.
Have I had fears? Absolutely. I went to Tucson kicking and screaming.
But
I never
she
fought him.
She didn't fight me.
I just said, brother, I only got about 5 years now, but I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna be a good wife.
But she didn't fight me.
I have never fought him. I have trusted that he has always been a man that's led of God. And it was a need for us to go to Tucson. So even with every life transition, there has been moments that I say, man, even those things may have hurt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If that would not have happened the way that it did, it wouldn't have shaped us for now.
Yeah.
And even with that Tucson, Atlanta would have swallowed us up, because even though
Tucson made me strong.
Even though we found our people, we had people that was not happy for us to be here in Atlanta. And it became very apparent after we got here. And that probably was a thing that shocked me. However, it didn't hurt me or it didn't break me because of all that we had endured in Arizona. So it literally gave me tough skin. I probably would have been here crying up, well, probably not crying, maybe fighting, but this is true. And had that not had happened. And so when things came, I could just kind of laugh it off and like, God, I thank you for preparing us literally on the backside of a desert where nobody knew our name. And then you put us here that we was able to be integral because what we did when no one,
and I say that like without any, I don't flinch at all. Like I've never felt as if Phineka did not true. Now there's been days I've doubted myself, but I've never felt like I had the type of wife that if I said, hey, I feel like God is telling us to do A, B, C, and D, that she was going to raise hell and go completely dive.
And I also allowed him to tell me some of those fears. And it did not make me quake in my boots or women. It did not diminish him still being a man and me still wanting to follow. So even sometimes men just need to vent. They don't need to say, well, if you ain't got no peace about it, it ain't God. Sometimes, because even women, we have the same thing. Sometimes I don't need my husband to come in and be Mr. Fixer. I just need a safe space to vent and vet and just kind of flush through even some of my, what we call it, brain dumping, and where else could I do it at? Because my brain be scattered, and then, and it always come back. So even when he would have, some of those moments of like, babe, we really about to be out here with no insurance. Babe, we really about to be out here with no real salary. And even when he had those moments, I trusted him because of what you always say, you watch a man's patterns. Women, my husband always you watch a man's patterns. It go the same thing for men. Men, you watch women patterns, but you watch a man's patterns. And I always knew, that he was going to do what he had to do to sustain his family. I've seen this man go with a master's degree, go back and clean a toilet at a church just so me and my children can eat. So it showed me that there was nothing that would have been too low for him to do for his family. So even if we got him while we had to figure it out, I knew I'm with a man that would say I would do something that most would say would be beneath me, in order to ensure that I take care of my family. So that's why it made me easy to follow, even when, and so let them have some of those safe spaces, women, without you just, automatically going in, So I never, not one transition did I go kicking, screaming, not one.
Now there were some she was more happy about than others.
Yeah,
that's true. She was ready to come back to the South.
I was ready to come back to the South.
We love, and I think we still miss some of the people and some of the relationships we made out west. Yeah. But the environment that was most conducive for the way we're wired, we knew we'd get it back here. Yeah. All right, guys, I got a minute and a half. I want you real quick to drop in this chat a few things. Like I pray this blessed you tonight. We've got one more thing I know we've got to talk to you all about next week. And that's our newest life update that's
Yeah.
coming that we're preparing for. So we're going to make that a whole session in itself. But what I want y'all to do tonight, drop me real quick a couple of ideas of stuff y'all want to hear us talk about. Y'all are on here live, so y'all are going to get an opportunity that others may not get. I want you all to just in the comments real quick. We're going to try to read them in this next minute in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Drop some stuff that y'all want to hear us talk about. If it's relationships, if it's life, all those things. Hey, Philip, if it's any of those things, anything y'all want to hear us talk about, drop it real quick. I'm gonna see how many we can read and get in this next minute.
Oh, but you know what? We didn't tell about one transition, and I'm really excited about it. And we're still going to be in 2 locations.
We've got a Charlotte piece. Lord, now we're gonna have to incorporate that in next week as well.
Yeah.
So there's still
okay.
more.
So we'll add that in next week then.
Yeah, there's still more in here. Absolutely. Can you teach to help us single women about men? Okay, I'm not married, but this walking in your purpose as a wife, mentorship. Parenting, mentorship. Relationships, we can carry that. Leading in the church as a first lady, mentorship. How are men wired? We can do that. Soul ties, we can do that. Relationships, mentorship. Yeah, every time I see mentor, business, positivity, talking with your children. I mean, y'all are dropping them.
Hey, somebody from Selma, that went so quick. Now y'all know
Women
my
trying
eyes
to
a little
pursue
old.
men.
I got
How
the
to
old
pray for
lady
your
eyes.
husband, mentorship. Sex education in the church. We love that one. Your dating life, clocking. Man, y'all are going fast now. There's a whole, y'all gave me a whole lot. All right.
Sons and daughters in ministry.
How you all pick them and select them. Okay. Women and leading, mentorship, spiritual language restoration, relationship parenting, how to study
dating when married with children.
Okay. So y'all got some pretty good stuff.
A lot about dating. I see even married with children, dating with singles.
But you want to know a lot of it is mentorship. All right, guys, we love y'all. This is a little bit long. We got y'all an overtime session tonight.
I'm so sorry, guys. That thing got good, and you know, I we get some of those questions sometimes, and I just think you answer them so well. And just that honor piece is so big for us. Honor is so big, y'all. I'm telling you, we have sent people. People have come to our church to come to join our church in Atlanta, and we've said, "Well, how did you leave your last church?" And I have seen my husband in me tell him, "Go back." Go back. Go back.
Do it right.
You don't do it right, we don't want you over here. And I was like,
because you're gonna curse our soul.
But I really appreciate that so I wanted to say those points because honor is so huge for him. And I have seen him send saints back to the church and say, you know, do that right. Don't come over here.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, thank y'all y'all can keep commenting because we're going to go back on and read as many as we can. Thank y'all for being on tonight. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all for sure next Thursday. We won't be on Sunday. We're taking a couple days and just getting away for a little bit.
Now, Monday, I will be doing a prayer thing for women, for married women. Look out for my page, and I have the fly out, I think. But I will be doing a prayer call specifically for married women Monday night. That is for sure.
So we love y'all, and we will see y'all very, very soon. Thank you for being on with us tonight. Again, like, subscribe, hit, I don't know if it's up or if it's down, up, one of the two, wherever it is. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Share it with your friends. Thank y'all for being with us tonight. We love y'all.